Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
A very warm welcome to the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University at Chaitanya Studio, Ahmedabad. I, Professor Amit Suthar from Ganpat University, Department of Computer Science, would like to share the knowledge regarding password cracking and brute force tools. So, today's agenda for this session is learning objectives, introduction, John the Ripper tool, L0PHT crack, password dump, THC HYDRA. So these are the various tools which we are going to study for the today's session, and it is basically used for the password cracking and brute force tools. So after studying this section, the learner or students can be able to crack the password using tools, penetration into the system, and various uses of brute force tools. Before I would like to say, starting the crack the password is not a legal things. So it is purely educational purpose what we have studied over here, and it is up to the penetration into the system. So let's introduce this section. This block is focused to discuss password and user account exploitation is one of the largest issue in network security. In this section, we will look at password cracking, how and why of it. So we will look at just how easy it is to penetrate a network, how attackers get in, the tools they use, and ways to combat it. So basically focused on how the attacker or pen tester uses the password cracking tools. So the section password cracking and brute force tools. In general, an attacker has two choices when trying to ascertain a password. Firstly, obtain a copy of the plaintext password or its encrypted hash and then use brute force tools to guess what password produced the hash. Then after, target a login prompt and try to guess a password. So a password cracking is an old technique that is successful mostly because humans are not very good random sequence generator. As we know that password is a very confidential, it must be a very confidential and it is sensitive information for any system. So it must be either minimum 8 characters long, then there will be a combination of alphanumeric characters as well as special symbols must be there. But again, I would like to say that password cracking tools are able to crack such kind of password also, because we are the human being and they are not creating a random sequence number or random sequence password generator. That's why we are putting password like combination of birth date or combination of name, surname, of better half one. So it is easily guessable password for the password cracking tool. Another one is brute force technique, is a trial and error method used by application program to decode encrypted data such as password or DES, data encryption standard key, through exhaustive effort, or we can say using brute force rather than employing intellectual strategies. But password cracking tools can use such kind of techniques. Among them, one of the best and powerful and we can say popular tool in cybersecurity domain is the JTR or John the Ripper tool. John the Ripper is one of the speedy password cracker presently for many non-operating systems like Windows, Unix, Mac, etc. Basically, its main objective is to discover weak password in operating system. So it find the weak password whatever resides in your OS. So JTR will discover it. John the Ripper auto detect the encryption on the hashed data and compares it against a large plain text file that contains popular password, hashing each password, and then stopping it when it finds a match. So it will find the hashed data also and compare with the popular password list. So it can be easily find, or we can say it's a very speedy for password cracking. It also includes its own word list of common password for 20 plus languages. Actually, it's a very big thing for word list which supports 20 plus languages. Basically, when we are searching for the word list or password list, it supports only for the English language, but it supports 20 plus languages in John the Ripper tool. These word list provide JTR with thousands of possible passwords from which it can generate the corresponding hash values to make a high value guess of the target password. That's why it has a wide word list of password. And since most people choose easy to remember password, as we know that we are the human being and getting some or putting some related or relatives name as a password. So It is often very effective when even with its out of the box word list of password. It can be cracked through the JTR. So how to download the JTR, John the Ripper tool? It is an open source project. So you can download and compile the source on your own and download the executable binaries or find it as a part of penetration testing package also, because it is already available in Kali Linux as a part of their password cracking meta packages. So you can download the John the Ripper tool from the openwall.com/John. So in this JTR having the cracking the password have several modes for cracking the password, like single crack mode, word list mode, and incremental. So the single crack mode is the fastest and best mode if you have a full password file to crack. The word list mode compare the hash to a non-list of potential password matches. And the incremental mode is the most powerful because it is in incremental fashion. So it is the most powerful and possibly won't complete. This is your classic brute force mode that tries every possible character combination until you have a possible result. So these are the various mode for cracking the password. The easiest way to try cracking a password is to let the John the Ripper go through a series of common cracking modes. The command below tells it to try simple mode, then the default word list contain a likely password, and then incremental mode. So here you can see the example how the JTR will work. So in terminal you can directly enter, or you can enter in command prompt john.exe if it is in Windows, then provide the parameter like password file. So it will directly try to discover the password. Also you can download the different word list from the internet, because it is widely updated day by day. The word list of password can be downloaded from the internet, and you can create your own new word list for the John the Ripper to use with the word list parameter. So in example you can see the password file word list parameter provides, or we have to provide our own word list which we have downloaded from the internet or which we have created our own. So it's a simple txt file, or we can say text file for the word list, and through that word list JTR will perform the cracking the password activity. Suppose if you want to specify a cracking mode, use the exact parameter for the mode. Then, for example, if we are providing single password file, suppose if you wish to change the mode as incremental, then you can provide the parameter like dash dash incremental and password file. So it will be worked as a incremental mode of cracking the password. When you want to see the list of passwords that you have cracked, so at that time you have to use the show parameter. Dash show parameter will show the cracked password which you have cracked. Another tool is LOphtCrack. It is known as best Windows password auditing tool. It can be used by network or system administrator for auditing weak password. For example, what is weak password? So it can be a 123 like that, test 123 or password p@SS word like that. So these are the very common, and in word list basically such kind of password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 like that. So these are the series of sequence number and it is very weak one. So the password cracking tools or brute force tools are easily discover such kind of weak password and can also help a hacker to recover password from password hashes. So how to install this tool into your system? So there is a LOphtCrack 7 is distributed in self-installing executable distribution file that can be downloaded for free at LOphtCrack.com/download.html. So you can directly get the binary distribution file and you can install it your own pace. So here you can see the running for the first time. So there is a wizard like password auditing wizard, start a new section, open an existing section like that. So firstly, after installing, we have to click on new session, or also we can try for the password auditing wizard also. So wizard overview. The tool helps you quickly configure the settings needed to retrieve and audit password by the most common means and provides a quick overview of the password auditing process. So how to import the password hashes? So this tool can import password hashes directly from the remote machine, from the local file system, from the same file which is basically used in Linux, in Windows environment, or we can say system files which stores the password hash or password, pwdump, password dump, or shadow files and from Active Directory also. So obtaining password over the network requires network access and administrator privileges to the target machine. To begin the import process, select Import from the password menu sidebar on the left hand side of the main screen. So when you start the wizard, you will be guided to select or import the password from the menu, and when import is selected, you will see the main window will display the import mechanism. When you select an import mechanism, you will see the right side of the main window change to a dialog for the input required, such as file and machine names. So it will directly display the window dialog for the input required, such as file and machine name. After you input the required file names, then host name, option for import mechanism, you will see the action button run import immediately and add import to queue on gray and become active. So by providing such kind of information, the button will become active. At this point, you will likely press run import immediately to perform the import action. So it is a process for importing password hashes. How to import it from the local machine? It also support for the remote machine also. But before that, we discuss from the local machine. To import password hashes from a local machine, you must be logged in with the administrator rights or have an administrator or password pair. Then after, local machine import works regardless of whether password are stored in a SAM file or on Active Directory. So it will import from the local machine. Firstly, select the import from local Windows system. You can select to keep currently imported account. If you are adding this import to account or hashes you have already imported. If this option is not selected, the import will overwrite any previously imported accounts. So if you don't have properly or previously imported account, if you wish to perform the new one, then it will be overwritten. So if you want to audit all system accounts, not just user account, you can select to include machine account. Through that, you can show or crack the entire system account password through this method from your local machine. Now, how to import from the remote machine? So, to import from the remote machine, select either import from Linux, BSD Solaris X system, over SSH if your target system is Unix like, or select import from remote Windows system if your target system is Windows. Again, there will be a credential. So, credential with root or administrator privileges are required. If a security tool or some other element in the network environment is preventing remote hash retrieval, then you may have to use a third-party tool to obtain the hashes and then follow the instructions for importing hashes from password dump file, SAM file, system file, especially for the it is reside in Windows OS, or shadow file in Unix OS. So, these are the various tools for password cracking. Now, another one is the password dump, or we can say PW dump. So, the original PW dump program was written by Jeremy Allison in 1997 to demonstrate how to extract password hashes from the Windows registry. So, generally Windows operating system contains the various configuration or system entry into the registry, and we can easily access the registry by entering regedit.exe into the run window. Since then, other developers have created many versions of password dump to keep up with various updates to Windows, but they all rely on extracting hashes from the registry, SAM file, or lsas.exe process memory space. So, the lsas.exe, it is a local security subsystem service for the authentication. It's essentially responsible for authentication, which is why its memory contains the system's password hashes. So, you may found this password dump utility from mentioned URL from the openworld.com. So, how to use this password dump? They require administrative privileges. So, you will need to start the command.exe shell with run as administrator. The following example demonstrates the password dump 6 on a 64-bit Windows system. So, here you can see password dump.exe-n-x localhost will get some password. THC HYDRA is also available for the password cracking and brute force tools. So, THC HYDRA is also known as simply HYDRA, we can say, easily surpasses the majority of brute force tools available on the internet for two reasons. It is fast and it targets authentication mechanism for several dozen protocols. So, you can directly download from the thc.org, or you can say in mentioned URL. So, how to install in Linux? By default, it is available in Kali Linux, but if you are not using Kali, then directly you can install by entering the mentioned command on Debian based Linux operating system. So, sudo apt-get install HYDRA will install the HYDRA utility. GUI is also available for HYDRA. So that is HYDRA GTK is GUI front end for HYDRA. If you are running Kali, this will already be pre-installed for everyone. So this is the Kali Linux having HYDRA. So when you are open first time HYDRA, you will see such kind of screen. Also, you can get the username, be a single username such as admin or username list. Password list is usually any text file containing potential password, and target can be an IP address and port, or it can be a specific web form field. So by entering this command into the terminal, you will get the password also. So you can see the example, HYDRA-L admin is the username, -p, then provide the password file, then your targeted host with port. So through that you can get the password list. Let's sum up the password cracking and brute force tools. Thank you very much.
स्वाध्यायः परमं